Alright, let's break this down, because the Minnesota Twins trading for Dean Kremer from the Orioles feels like a move that's way more interesting than just another July deadline deal. Let me explain why I think this isn't just about improving a rotation. First off, the Twins added AJ Minter the day before. So, 2 pitching moves in 2 days. That's not a coincidence. This team is clearly trying to patch holes in a staff that's been shaky all season. But Kremer isn't a flashy name. He's a back-end starter, which means Minnesota isn't exactly going all in on a rental ace. So, what's the bigger picture here? Let's dig deeper. What stands out to me is how this trade reflects the Orioles' long-term strategy. Sending Kremer to the Twins means Baltimore is doubling down on their rebuild. Jomnado Reyes, the minor leaguer they are getting back, isn't a household name, but he's a toolsy outfielder with upside. That fits the Orioles' pattern of stockpiling young, controllable assets instead of holding onto veterans who might not help them contend in 2026. It's smart, honestly. They are playing the long game, while staying competitive enough to avoid bottoming out. But does Kremer's departure weaken their rotation too much? That's a question worth asking. Now, from Minnesota's perspective, Kremer's acquisition feels like a calculated risk. His stats this year, 4.85 ERA, 1.3 WHIP, don't exactly scream difference maker, but his underlying metrics suggest he's been unlucky. His xERA is in the mid-threes, and his spin rates on his fastball and slider are legit. The Twins' pitching coaches have a track record of unlocking value in guys like this. If they can tweak his pitch mix or mechanics, he could turn into a solid mid-rotation guy down the stretch. But here's the catch: Kremer's been inconsistent his whole career. Is this a case of Minnesota overestimating their ability to fix him? Or are they just desperate? What's fascinating here is how this trade mirrors a broader trend in MLB, teams trading for project pitchers instead of proven veterans. Look at the Padres with Dylan Cease, the Yankees with Luis Severino. Organizations are prioritizing upside over certainty. The Twins are doing the same with Kremer. But why? Part of it's economics. Rents for top starters are through the roof, and prospects are overvalued in a market where development timelines are unpredictable. Kremer's contract is also team-friendly through 2029. So, if he figures it out, this could be a steal. If not, Minnesota can cut bait after a year. It's a low-risk, high-reward move. But here's the deeper implication: this trade might signal the end of the Orioles' current competitive window. They are 76-58 this season, but they are not contending with the Yankees and Rays in the AL East. Trading Kremer suggests they are pivoting toward 2027 and beyond. Contrast that with the Twins, who've made the playoffs twice in the last decade but haven't won a series. They are in a win-now mode, but Kremer alone isn't going to flip their season. This feels like a panic move to salvage a playoff berth, which raises questions about their front office's long-term planning. Are they building a contender, or just treading water? So, where does this leave us? For the Twins, it's a roll of the dice on a pitcher who could either stabilize their rotation or implode. For the Orioles, it's another piece in a rebuild that's already paying off with young stars like Adley Rutschman and Gunnar Henderson. But here's the thought I keep coming back to: in an era where pitching is more volatile than ever, is stockpiling arms with question marks really the answer? Or is this just teams gambling because the alternative, rebuilding from scratch, is too painful? Let me know what you think in the comments. And if you're wondering how this trade impacts both teams' futures, drop a subscribe. We'll be here breaking down every move that matters.